Good morning. Slamming the South, tornadoes wreaking havoc in parts of the U.S., including down in Alabama. Buildings leveled, and now the cleanup is on. We've got the details in moments.
Plus, being prepared. It's Severe Weather Preparedness Week in Indiana. As storms are becoming more likely across the state, you need to be ready. What experts say you should do.
And it's up. Temperatures rise, and spring-like weather is gonna continue. Lots of sunshine on the way. Our weather team tracking it for you. Get the coffee ready and open up those eyes. You're waking up with Cardinal Weather.
From Ball State Unified Media, you're waking up with Cardinal Weather, live from the Ball State Weather Center.
We're dancing this morning. Can I get a Grace? See, you do it a lot better than I do. I can't roll my R's. Anyway, I'm surprised that we haven't scared you off yet.
No, I really enjoy the morning show.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us. Grace Binkowski is back with us. I'm Tyler Brummett. We've been singing a lot this morning. Head over to my Twitter page. You can see a little bit of our dance moves there. We were jamming out before the show.
Definitely, we were.
Yeah, we were having a lot of fun because you know what? It feels kind of like a Monday, not gonna lie, but when I saw you, I was like, okay, it's starting to feel like Friday, so we're having a lot of fun. But of course, we do have some headlines to get to here this morning, so we want to start off by talking about severe weather. So of course, every year the National Weather Service, they take a week to highlight the dangers of severe weather. It's all a part of an effort to build a weather-ready nation. Grace, I don't know if you knew this week is Indiana's Severe Weather Preparedness Week.
I did, and the ultimate goal is to better prepare the public for the aftermath of severe thunderstorms, flooding, and tornadoes. On Tuesday, there was a statewide tornado drill to remind Hoosiers what actions need to be taken when a warning is issued.
Yeah, and definitely that was helpful on Tuesday to be able to prepare in case there is a tornado. And the weather team from our sister show, NewsLink Indiana, they took some time this week to explain some of the focuses. Weather forecaster Rachel Stinger tells us what the different warnings mean.
This is your NewsLink weather forecaster, Rachel Stinger, here for Severe Weather Preparedness Week in Indiana, and today we're going to be talking about how to safely respond to a tornado warning and if a tornado is spotted in your area. First, we are going to go to the lowest level or the most interior room in your house. You want to be away from windows and away from any type of outside wall of your house. Second, you're going to want to stay away from trees and power lines. These can fall on your car, even fall in danger, put you in danger or in your safety. You're going to not want to go under overpasses. Those can be impacted by the wind and they can collapse, and that is very dangerous. And you're going to want to shelter in place until the tornado warning has ended. There can still be severe weather happening even after the warning has been uplifted, so make sure that you pay attention to the media and you make sure that you shelter in place until you know it is safe to go outside.
Definitely some helpful information. Rachel, thank you so much. And by the way, if you want to find more tips, you can head over to the NewsLink Indiana YouTube page and the NewsLink Indiana Twitter account. They've got some helpful advice for you as well.
As Indiana prepared for severe weather, the southern U.S. states experienced it. Since last Friday, 68 tornado damage reports have come into the Storm Prediction Center.
Yeah, 28 tornado reports came in on Wednesday alone, and even more came in yesterday. Powerful storms moved through 5 states, and now people are cleaning up. Nadia Romero shows us the damage left behind.
Oh boy.
A tornado ripping off the roof of this Tuscaloosa, Alabama house.
Home just heavily damaged, still home just now.
Shelton County, Alabama man Jimmy Baker still shaken up after hiding in his hall closet as the storm covered his home.
We heard it, you know, the sound from the house coming down, but we were saved. We thank the Lord for that.
Just about 70 miles west of Baker, Ryan Lavender hiding in his closet in Moundsville, Alabama.
I still sat there shaking, holding my dog, just, you know, hoping that it was over. And I got out and looked up, and there was no roof over me anymore.
A similar scene in Birmingham, Alabama, but not just in Alabama. At least 24 preliminary reports of tornadoes wreaking havoc on 5 southern states Wednesday, according to the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center. Heavy rains brought flash flooding to Jonesboro, Arkansas. And in Mississippi, swift water rescues in the capital city of Jackson. And this site of what looks to be hundreds of University of Alabama students taking cover under a parking deck on campus could be the near future for about 45 million others bracing for storms from the Ohio Valley into South Florida. With Thursday's strong storms threatening Georgia and the Carolinas. I'm Nadia Romero reporting.
It's not quite hurricane season yet, but the Hurricane Committee has announced 4 hurricane names that will no longer be used. Dorian, Laura, Eta, and Iota are all being retired from the rotating list of Atlantic storm names. Officials say this decision was based off of the death and destruction each hurricane caused. Dexter and Leah will replace Dorian and Laura, while the Greek alphabet names won't be used due to the distractions and confusions of the public. More than 90 hurricane names have been retired since 1953.
8:05 here on your Friday morning. The theme of the morning seems to be severe weather because, obviously it's Severe Weather Preparedness Week. We talked about some tornadoes. We're thinking of the people impacted by those as well as hurricanes. But here in Indiana, the good news, we really didn't have any severe weather this week, but we did see a mixed bag out there. Rain. We saw some snow yesterday.
A little bit of flurries, yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting to see that. So, of course, we got to check out that all-important weekend outlook. Hope Kleitch, good morning to you with the first check of that local weather.
Good morning, guys. The rain has cleared out of the area, but taking a look at those current temperatures, a little bit on the chilly side this morning. 30 degrees here in Muncie, 30 degrees in Indianapolis, 32 down in Bloomington. And as we take a look at those wind chills, it's feeling really cold outside due to those winds this morning. It feels like 18 degrees here in Muncie, 17 in Indianapolis, a little bit cooler up in Kokomo at 16 degrees. And taking a look at that radar, clear across the area, no clouds really in sight. And what we're tracking through the show is breezy winds today. They hang around throughout most of the day. But this weekend and going into next week, the sunshine will once again come out. And then a warm up next week. We're going to be in the 60s for most of the week next week. Back to you guys.
All right, Hope, thank you so much. Of course, we can't wait for that warm up. But in Colorado and Wyoming, they didn't deal with it at all. Severe weather striking those 2 states in the form of snow. Take a look at this right here. A blizzard dumped feet of snow across the region. The Denver metro area saw over 2 feet, making it the 4th largest blizzard in the city's history. Every highway going in and out of Cheyenne, Wyoming was shut down after 30 inches fell. Thousands of people lost power. Days worth of flights canceled and hundreds of crashes reported. We'll keep you updated.
And after all the destruction this week, there were some positives. Dylan Thomas tells the story of how one Good Samaritan helped those stranded on the roads.
Tasked with plowing more than a foot of slushy snow from our roadways, even one of Colorado's finest drivers found themselves stuck in the ditch along I-25 in northern Colorado, just outside of Fort Collins. Strong wind gusts created whiteout conditions, I-25 barely visible from the frontage road that runs alongside through Loveland. As residents dug cars out on their hands and knees, others fired up their snowblowers to clear the mess. Heavy machinery in Windsor needed for the duties at nearby stores. At times, visibility on US 34 through Johnstown was 15 feet. At the exit ramp to 10th Street in Greeley,
I'm out here helping people who need help, don't have adequate vehicles, and since I love my Jeep and it's very adequate, I figured come out and help people.
John Faber spent his day rescuing strangers like this woman. The wind was too strong to hear her interview, but she told us she was stuck for more than an hour.
Whether it's hooking up to them with chains and pulling or digging them out with a shovel.
Faber said he was just happy to help others, and their gratitude in return was sufficient payment.
Love helping people, so I might as well do something to help them.
Still ahead here on this Friday morning, a new restriction in place for those both on and off campus this weekend. We're talking about that, plus more places are opening for you to get a vaccine.
Your COVID headlines are after your weather now.
The sun is coming up. The day is getting started. What a beautiful shot this morning over part of campus here at 8:10 on your Friday morning. Of course, really love that shot right there. And speaking of shots, we'll talk about vaccines coming up here in just a bit, but we got to get to your COVID headlines. And by the way, if you drive around campus, you're likely going to be seeing smaller crowds than what you perhaps saw last week. And in-person social events are a no-go at Ball State until further notice following reports of large crowds last weekend.
University officials announcing the news in an email. The mandate includes all off-campus gatherings, including ones at fraternity houses. The Office of Student Life says organizations who break these rules could no longer be recognized by the university. BSU officials also urge students to get tested even without COVID-19 symptoms. Ball State offers free testing for students and faculty. For more information on how you can get tested, visit bsu.edu and select Get Tested.
It really just brings tears to your eyes to know that people can go back now and do those things that you want to do, right? Be at your kids' ball games. So that's really the message that we need to get out.
An emotional moment there from State Health Commissioner Dr. Christina Box. Getting back to normal, state officials are pushing for Hoosiers to get vaccinated. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Lindsay Weaver announcing what the state is calling large-scale vaccine sites. Here's what they are. Weaver says these locations don't fill up appointments as quickly as smaller sites, so they will be giving out vaccine doses, they hope, faster. Dr. Box, she is hopeful that this will help open things up.
The way that Indiana can look forward is to get everybody vaccinated. And I think as we message this, the important thing is that this makes us comfortable, as the governor says, to go to the movie, take off our mask and have popcorn and a Diet Coke, to be able to go to the restaurant together where everybody's celebrating.
And one thing that state officials want to make sure that people know is that these sites offer Johnson & Johnson's single-dose vaccine. You can find these locations under the High Volume tab on the Health Department's coronavirus website. We've got a link on our website, ballstatedaily.com.
And in addition, some are waiting on herd immunity to take place as more Americans get the vaccines. Top U.S. officials warn not to get fixated on it. The number of U.S. adults who have contracted the coronavirus was possibly twice the number reflected in the official case count in September, according to a new study. Mandy Gaither has more in today's Health Minute.
As more shots go into the arms of Americans, top U.S. health officials say achieving herd immunity shouldn't be the focus.
Why don't we just say get as many people vaccinated as quickly as you possibly can, and every day that goes by now with more than 2 million doses going into people, we're getting closer and closer to control of this pandemic.
The millions of coronavirus cases confirmed in the U.S. may just be the tip of the iceberg, according to a study published in the medical journal JAMA. Researchers tested the blood of nearly 62,000 Americans who never had symptoms of COVID-19. They say they found more than 4,000 of them had antibodies, meaning they'd had COVID-19 but were apparently asymptomatic. The scientists used that information to estimate that 15.9 million asymptomatic or undiagnosed coronavirus infections were in the U.S. as of September 30th, 2020, while the total number of confirmed positive cases was just over 7.2 million at the end of September, according to Johns Hopkins University. This as a more contagious virus variant known as B.1.1.7 continues to spread across the U.S. Another study linked that variant to a risk of death that was 55% higher than that of earlier strains.
Our current models still project by the end of March, early April, B.1.1.7 will be the dominant variant.
That's why health officials continue to urge Americans to wear masks, practice social distancing, and wash hands. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
A grim prediction for you this morning. By July 1st, experts believe the coronavirus death toll will pass 569,000 in the U.S. That's the latest forecast from the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation at the University of Washington. The team says cases and deaths are declining overall, especially in big states like California and Texas, but some states like Michigan are beginning to see that upward trend because of the new variants. The model does factor in the spread of variants and vaccines all across America.
FEMA will reimburse families for funeral expenses of coronavirus victims. The agency posted a message on its website about the assistance effort. According to the posting, FEMA has $2 billion for reimbursements. The funds are for individuals or households with COVID-19 related funeral expenses from January 20th to December 31st of last year. FEMA says it will set up funeral assistance program and work with various groups to help with outreach to communities and families. The agency will release final guidance to potential applicants soon and encourages those who have had COVID-19 funeral expenses to gather and keep those documents.
Let's go to Washington now. The third round of stimulus checks were sent out. About 90 million payments have been given out so far. The first group to get the money includes people who provided direct deposit information to the IRS on recent tax returns or on the IRS's website. About 150,000 paper checks have also been mailed. About $242 billion with a B dollars have been paid. So you might be asking who's eligible. Well, people earning under $75,000 and married couples making less than $150,000 get the full amount, $1,400 each. You can check the status of your payment right now on irs.gov. 8:15 here on this Friday morning. Let's talk weather once again. Maddie Johnson joining us with a check of that national forecast. I know a lot of people have been talking about those tornadoes down south, but things are clearing up.
Yes, things are clearing up. We're getting off to quite a chilly start this morning for your national weather. We're looking at across much of the country this morning. We're seeing 30 degrees here in Muncie, 30s and 40s across most of the plains, 28 degrees in Denver. Now taking a look today, spring is tomorrow. Definitely going to feel more spring-like. Tomorrow's the first day of spring, so we're seeing these warmer temperatures really start to move in with that warmer air. 50 degrees your high temperature today in Cincinnati, 52 Kansas City, 62 down in Dallas, 75 out there in Las Vegas. Now looking at radar, like Tyler said, it is starting to clear up. We're seeing these two high pressure systems, one over Michigan, the other over northern Texas. Those are keeping most of the country relatively dry and cloud-free right now. We are seeing some rain down here in the mid-Atlantic. This is left over from a system that moved through earlier this week. We are seeing some rain right now here in Virginia as well as North Carolina. We're also seeing some rain and some snow showers out here in the mountains, the Cascade Mountains out in the Pacific Northwest. Definitely not seeing spring anytime soon. Now on our current watches and warnings, it's pretty clear across much of the country. We are seeing flood warnings as part of this system that did move through. The last 2 days we have seen severe weather here in the south, and with those tornadoes and all of the water that has moved through and all the precipitation that has fallen, we are seeing flooding. So these are flood advisories for much of the rivers down here. So if you do happen to live in the south, don't drive through any flooded roadways and make sure to stay away from these flooded rivers. Now this is not the end of the precipitation for the southern areas. We are seeing above average precipitation for much of the eastern half of the country, especially down here in the south where they've already seen lots of heavy precipitation. Out west, they are seeing the probability of below average temperatures. Now we are seeing a lot of these warmer temperaters and the rain as a result of spring. So spring is definitely on the way.
Awesome. Yeah, we're excited.
I'm definitely excited. I can't believe we made it through the winter.
Yeah.
I can't do snow. I can't do snow.
Warmer temperatures are on the way.
All right, Maddie, thank you so much.
And in just a moment, staying safe while going on a date, what one company is doing to make sure you and your partner don't get sick.
This sounds interesting. We're swiping right after a message from Mitt. Stay with us.
Riding the bus is an easy thing to do. Last year, we carried 60,000 riders from the Ball State area. 50,000 of those were students. Anywhere you want to go, Mitts will take you there.
Welcome back. The time is 8:19 and you're taking a look at campus. The sun is up and we are getting ready for our Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. A beautiful shot out there. And you know what? Let's talk about this here. Grace and I, we've been kind of talking about this story all morning long. Have you ever wanted to date online, but were worried about COVID-19? Well, Tinder, they're taking measures to make sure your next date is COVID-free. The online dating application is joining forces with Everlywell to hand out 1,000 COVID-19 test home collection kits. The goal is to send these kits to 500 Tinder members who can check the COVID status for themselves and a match. This is a way for couples to make sure that they don't infect each other with the virus before meeting on a potential date. More than 40% of users 30 years or younger said back in October that they couldn't see a match in person, largely because of the pandemic. These tests will be handed out on a first-come, first-served basis. And I'm not going to lie, I will admit this on air. I do have a Tinder account. I was checking, and I think they might be out. I couldn't find it anywhere.
Okay, interesting. I think it's a smart way to go about things.
Yeah, absolutely, because, obviously dating has changed recently with COVID and everything, so... Yeah, swiping right on that for sure.
And turning the table, speaking of love, some zoo animals were loving Denver's snow. Check out these lions at the Denver Zoo from Monday. The zoo says lions spend most of their day finding ways to keep cool. So this snow means that they can run around without having to worry about getting overheated. If they were to get cold, the zoo would have heated rocks for them to sit on, and there's also a heated bedroom.
I love that right there. Oh, they're so cute. I wish we could just stay on that video, but you know what? We have to move things along. Hope Kleitch is here with a check of local weather. Obviously, we saw a lot of snow there. We saw a little bit yesterday, but you know what? Warmer weather is on the way. Is that right?
Yeah, it's cooler right now, but going into the weekend and into next week, we will see some warmer temperatures. And taking a look at those current temperatures currently, 30 degrees here in Muncie, 30 in Indianapolis, a little bit cooler up in Kokomo, sitting at 28 degrees this morning. And as we look at the 24-hour temperature change, 14 degrees difference here in Muncie, 20 degree difference down in Shelbyville, a 24 degree difference down in Bloomington. And going into the next 8 hours, we will have a slight warm up throughout the day, still a little bit on the chillier side, even below average for this time of year, getting up to 46 degrees by 4 p.m. today. But those winds will hang around throughout most of the day. Taking a look at the current winds, 17 degrees here, or 17 miles per hour here in Muncie, 21 miles per hour in Indianapolis. But going through the day, those winds will stick around. And as we go through our lunchtime hour, 24 miles an hour here in Muncie, and then going through the night, they do hang around, but by tomorrow morning, they are on the calmer side. And as we do look at the radar right now, it's quiet here, but as Maddie mentioned before, that storm system from yesterday that brought us rain and mixed precipitation and snow has pushed off to the southeast for the time being. And those sunny skies stick around going into today. Mostly sunny skies, a high of 45 degrees, breezy, winds coming out of the northeast at 15 to 20 miles an hour, gusts even up to 30 miles an hour. Heading into tonight, those winds do stick around, low of 26 degrees, but those skies do remain clear. Those winds coming again out of the northeast at 10 to 15 miles an hour, gusts up to 20 miles an hour. And headed into the weekend, first day of spring tomorrow with a high of 57 degrees, sunny skies, winds coming out of the east at 5 to 10 miles an hour. And Sunday we reach the 60s once again, winds coming out of the south at 5 to 10 miles an hour. And as we countdown to spring, just one day away, tomorrow we hit that first day of spring. And as we take a look at that mid 7-day forecast, we can really start to see those spring-like temperatures starting to come in. 63 for Sunday, 66 on Monday, and headed into the middle of the week, those rain chances do come again once again, but those temperatures in the 60s and lower 60s for Thursday.
Nice to see those 60s happening. Hope, thank you so much. Spring weather definitely on the way.
Yes, and in just a moment, your top headlines from this week in your Cardinal Weather News Minute.
Stay with us. Plus, Grace and I going head-to-head in some severe weather preparedness trivia. Probably going to lose, but you know what? I'm going to talk the talk and hopefully walk the walk. Stay with us.
From the heart of Ball State to the heart of your community, NewsLink Indiana brings you local and state news you care about. We pride ourselves with giving you the most reliable news coverage, stories that affect you, linking you to the community each night on air and online. NewsLink Indiana, bringing news to the heart of your community.
Welcome back. Time to take a look at some of the top stories from this week in your Cardinal Weather News Minute. Investigators in Georgia are still trying to figure out what led a man to gun down 8 people, including 6 Asian women in the Atlanta area. 21-year-old Robert Long is accused of murdering these people at 3 different spas. The attacks come as Asian Americans are facing increased incidents of hate amid the pandemic. Police say it's too early to know if the Atlanta shootings were racially motivated or if these will be considered hate crimes. A Muncie business owner is giving back to the community. Krista Sides is the owner of Camille and Salon. She spent part of her week at Muncie Mission giving free haircuts to residents. People living at the mission told us they were grateful and hope that this is part of them getting back on track. Sides says she loves to be able to use her business to do good things. Finally, Indiana State Police had quite the discovery. Troopers found more than 1,200 pounds of marijuana in a van during a traffic stop in Lake County. The street value? As much as $8.5 million. The driver, 31-year-old Christopher Colburn, was here in Indiana. He lives in California. He was arrested and faces felony charges. And that's your Cardinal Weather News Minute here on this Friday morning. Wow, quite the discovery.
Definitely.
Well, hey, we've been talking about severe weather all morning long, and now it's time for us to put our skills to the test. Cue the music. There we go. Hope White with us now to talk all about severe weather. As I bring it down a little bit here. Hope, what do you have for us?
Are you guys ready?
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to fail at this one. Let me turn the music down all the way. There we go.
Alrighty.
What's up?
The first question. The record number of tornadoes in Indiana was set in 2011. How many tornadoes were confirmed?
Ooh.
Best guess.
Best guess.
Closest without going over, right? Price is
Yes,
Right rules?
yes.
Okay, I'm going to go with like, I don't know if this is on the high end. I'm going to say like 1,200.
1,200? Wait, are we talking about across the country or in Indiana?
Just
in Indiana. Never mind.
Indiana.
Scratch that.
Take two.
Then I'm going to say, maybe let's do like 64.
64.
That's a good guess.
You're going to hate me for this. I'll go 65.
You're closer than 72,
No.
Tyler.
Hey, Price is Right rules.
Okay, that's fine.
Here, I'll guess first on this next one so that.
Alrighty, this
So
one's a
it's
true
fair.
or false question though. Alrighty, true or false, tornadoes can happen at any time of the year.
I'm going to go
I want to go true too.
You're both correct. Although the peak season is April through June, but we can easily see them in December.
Interesting.
Alrighty. Question number 3. The longest tracking tornado in U.S. history was the Tri-State tornado in 1925. How many miles did it track?
I'm going to go with... this is so difficult.
Right?
3 states to travel through.
Oh, wait, 3 states?
Three
I'm
states?
thinking...
I'm going to go 200 miles.
I'm going to go 178.
You're actually pretty close, Tyler. 219 miles.
Dang.
You should have went 201.
My bad.
Alrighty, so going off of that tri-state tornado, it went through Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana. How long was the tornado on the ground during those 219 miles?
Well, do we know how fast it was traveling? See, because I'm good at that kind of math. I'm kidding, I'm really not. Do we want to say, do you want to guess first?
Yeah, I'm going to go like, let's say 23 minutes.
23 minutes? I'll go with an hour.
You're closer, but quite a bit off. 3.5 hours, actually.
Oh my gosh.
That is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, going through those 3 states. Can't imagine. Alrighty.
That's wild.
So another true or false for you guys. In order for a severe thunderstorm warning to be issued, the storm must have both hail that is 1 inch or greater and winds exceeding 58 miles an hour.
I'm going to say yes, that is true.
I'm going to go with false just because Grace said true and I want to make this interesting.
You are correct, Tyler. It can have either
I'm
or
so sorry.
both.
It's okay. It's all good.
All right. Hey, they're telling us we have time for one more question.
Alrighty, one more. The 2011 super outbreak was the largest, costliest, and one of the deadliest tornado outbreaks ever recorded. During the span of 3 days, how many tornadoes were confirmed?
50.
25.
Grace, you're closer, but quite a bit off.
Hey!
360 tornadoes were confirmed during those 3 days.
Well, hey, the good news is it doesn't look like we have any severe weather on the way, right?
No. Plenty of sunshine for the next 7 days. Taking a look at next week, rain chances once again Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but mid-60s for most of the week, dropping down to 60 degrees on Thursday, but plenty of sunshine going into this weekend and early next week.
Hey, I'm going to go celebrate. Y'all have a nice weekend. I'll see you at 11:30 on Newslink Indiana Midday.